Hey guys, in this video, let us talk about the components of Netflix OSS for developing our microservice application. We all know about Netflix. Netflix is a corporate which is popular for video streaming. Earlier, Netflix had their application that was created using monolithic architecture. They had great difficulty while working with video streaming in terms of fault tolerance, latency, resilience and so many other things. So, Netflix slowly started converting their application that was built with monolithic architecture into an application that is using microservice architecture. During this process, they came up with a set of libraries and frameworks that helps in developing the application using microservice architecture. It has runtime containers, libraries and services that help in developing this microservice application. This is Netflix OSS, Open Software Solution. Before understanding the components of Netflix OSS, let us see what are the essentials that are needed for designing a microservice. These are the things which are mandatory. The first thing is service registry. In case of a monolithic application, you are having each functionality as a module. In case of a microservice, each functionality is created as a service. How the services will communicate with each other? For this, we need a service registry. This service registry is like a directory. Each service should register itself to the registry so that it is available for other services. Let me just show you a simple example. Here I am having a service registry. I have created few services: delivery service, order service, cart service and product service. They have to register themselves to the service registry. The next essential for designing a microservice is fault tolerance. When microservices are connecting to each other, if one microservice is down or if it is going to throw an exception or error or bug, the other microservices should not cascade the failures. Instead, they should know to handle the errors gracefully. Say for example, I am having three services A, B and C. A connecting to B, B connecting to C. In this case, if this particular microservice C is down, it will throw an exception to B. B should not cascade the failure and pass it on to A. Instead, it should have a mechanism to handle the exception and send a fallback message to A. This is how fault tolerance is taken care in case of microservice. The next one is Gateway API. The purpose of Gateway API is to provide dynamic routing, monitoring, security and resiliency. Let me just explain this with an example. When we talk about a microservice, it is nothing but one single application divided into multiple services. So the whole thing is going to be your microservice ecosystem. Whenever the client wants to connect to the application, instead of connecting to the application directly, you are going to have a Gateway API. The Gateway API is responsible for connecting the client to the backend microservice. So this Gateway API behaves like a front door for the client to connect to the microservice. Together with that, it also takes care of server-side load balancing, routing, security. So these kind of stuffs are taken care by the Gateway API. The next essential for designing a microservice is load balancing. Already we have discussed about server-side load balancing, that is between the client and the microservice ecosystem. The Gateway API is responsible for providing server-side load balancing. Here we are talking about client-side load balancing. Let us revisit the same example. I am having three microservices A, B and C. Assume that the number of requests coming from A to B is more. So in that scenario, we will be running more than one instance of the same service. So I will be running B1, B2, B3, B4. Meaning to say that for one service B, I am running 4 instances. Now in this case, for A to identify the appropriate instance of B, we need to add a load balancer to A. In this case, A has the responsibility and the choice of choosing the appropriate instance of B, maybe B2, B3 or B1. For that they have got different algorithms. Based on the algorithm, A will choose the appropriate instance of B. The next one is config server. When you are working with the microservice application, you are not supposed to add all the hard-coded configuration details in each and every microservice. Instead, you can put it in a separate repository. You will be creating a cloud config server which will connect to the repository, get the details for these microservices. So, for storing the configuration details of all the microservices, we use a repository. The config server will connect to the repository and give the details to the appropriate microservices. So, these are the essentials that are needed for designing the microservice. Okay, I know this is a bit theoretical. Now, let us see the components of Netflix OSS which provides all these functionalities in the form of libraries. These are the components of Netflix OSS. For service registration and discovery, we use Eureka server, and for developing a microservice, we need to use Eureka client. Latency and fault tolerance library. So, for working with fault tolerance, handling the exception, we use Hystrix. This Hystrix also behaves like a circuit breaker. What is latency? It is the time taken for a request from the client to the server and the response that is moving from the server to the client. That is the complete round trip from the client to the server and from the server back to the client is called as latency. How fast it happens, that is also taken care by Hystrix. Next one is the gateway API. The gateway API is taken care by Zuul. This also supports routing, server-side load balancing and filtering. Next is monitoring. Whenever you are having a e-commerce application, if you want to know the amount of requests coming from a particular API, or if you want to monitor when the circuit breaking happens, or what is the latency time taken for a request and a response. So for all these, you need Hystrix dashboard. So, Hystrix dashboard helps in monitoring your application. Technically, it helps to get the health of your application. Next is client-side load balancer. This already we have discussed. It is between the microservices. If microservice A wants to connect to any one of the instance of B, then I need a client-side load balancer to be attached to A. That is achieved with the help of Ribbon. Ribbon is a library from Netflix OSS. The last one is declarative REST client. This helps to create a stub for your application. You don't have to sit and write all the code by yourself. With the help of Feign, you can create a declarative client. That is, you will be creating an interface that is annotated with @Feign client. You are not going to write the raw code to connect to any microservice. Obviously, we will be discussing this in detail when we are doing the video of Feign. So, these are the components or libraries of Netflix OSS: Eureka, Hystrix, Zuul, Ribbon and Feign. You should know that microservices can be developed in any language. In our case, we are going to develop microservices using Spring Boot. So for developing microservices using Spring Boot, Spring Cloud provides Netflix OSS integrations. So what are the libraries that we will be using? Eureka server, Ribbon, Hystrix, again for monitoring our application Hystrix dashboard, Netflix Zuul. We will be also learning about cloud config server. Together with that, if you want to work with security part, Spring has got its own OAuth2 library. And also, if you want to handle or work with logging, there is something called as ELK stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash and Kibana. Elasticsearch also behaves like a database. Whenever you want to search your microservice application, you can use Elasticsearch. Logstash is used for centralized logging. Kibana is like a dashboard wherein you can get the analytics of your application. Technically, it is for monitoring and analyzing your application. Now, let us discuss about the Netflix components in detail. The first thing is Eureka. Eureka is a service registry. It is like a directory. Whenever you are creating microservices, you need to register it to the Eureka service registry. Let me show you with an example. In this case, I have created 4 services. All the 4 services should register themselves in the Eureka service registry. You will be getting a service registry dashboard wherein you can see the list of services that are registered to the registry. When the services are registered to the service registry, automatically it is visible for other services. Now in this case, I have registered 4 services. So product service is visible for cart, for order and for delivery. This is how it works. What are the details that we will give when we are registering? We need to give the details of the host number, the node name and all the service specific metadata details. Similar to Eureka, there is also one other service registry which is nothing but console. Because we are going to work with Netflix OSS, we will be using Eureka as our service registry. Next one is Hystrix. Hystrix is a latency and fault tolerance library. It stops cascading failures. Instead, it will give a fallback message to the other microservice. Let me explain this with a simple example. Here I have 4 services: delivery service, order service, cart service and product service. Assume the product service is down due to some reason. In that scenario, an exception will be occurring in cart service. Cart service may be throwing the exception to order. Order may be throwing the exception to delivery service. How to prevent the failures that are getting cascaded? So for that, you need to add Hystrix. If you are adding Hystrix to cart service, in that scenario, instead of throwing an exception, it will throw a fallback message to order service and order service will send the fallback message to the delivery service. And again, Hystrix uses circuit breaker design pattern. It is the same thing when the number of requests are getting more and more, and if any one of the service is down, instead of throwing the exception, it has to throw a fallback message. Only if you add Hystrix library to your microservice, this is possible. So this is about Hystrix. Next is Ribbon. Ribbon is an inter-process communication cloud library. This behaves like a client-side load balancer. How client-side load balancing is achieved? Technically, there are different ways of achieving client-side load balancing. In case of Netflix, Ribbon uses few algorithms like round robin rule, weighted response time rule, availability filtering rule. The name itself is very clear. Round robin means each time it is going to pick and choose one instance. Let us see this with an example. So here I have cart service. For the product service, the number of requests are more. So we are running multiple instances of product service. So here I have 3 instances of product service running, each running in different port numbers: 90, 91, 92, 93. Now cart service, if it is using round robin rule, first time for the first request it will choose 91, then 92, then 93. Next one is availability filtering rule. In this case, it will filter the server which is more prone to errors. Say for example, the service instance that is running in port number 9092, if it is prone to more errors, then in that scenario, cart service will not choose or will not prefer to choose 9092. So this is about availability filtering rule. The third one is weighted response time rule. So whenever cart service is sending a request to product service, based on the time taken by product service to return the response, this cart service will pick and choose the server. So that is called as weighted response time rule, meaning to say that how fast it is going to return the response. If it is taking more time to return the response, it will have less weightage. So this is about Ribbon. Ribbon also has the capacity to identify whether the servers are up and running or whether the servers are down. Just like load balancing algorithm, you can ping the server and find out whether the server is up and running. These things are possible with the help of Ribbon. Next one is Zuul. Zuul acts as a gateway API. Already we have seen I'm having a client and I'm having a microservice ecosystem. Zuul is an intermediary with the help of which the client can connect to the microservice ecosystem. So Zuul is a gateway or a front door for all the requests that is coming from different devices, maybe a mobile app or a desktop application or any other API integration to the backend microservice ecosystem. This becomes a single point of entry. So Zuul, you can say this as an edge server. It supports routing and filtering, and it also provides server-side load balancing. So this is again a simple example of Zuul. So this is the client. The client can be a mobile application, it can be a desktop application, it can be a web app, it can be any type of application. Whenever the client wants to connect to the microservice ecosystem, that is to the complete application, he can connect only through the Zuul API gateway. If you see here, for service 1, I am running 3 instances. Service 2, I am running 2 instances. Service 3 also 2 instances. Service 4, I am running 4 instances. All the services have registered themselves to the Eureka service registry. Now coming to Zuul, whenever the client is asking for a request, Zuul will go and look up in the Eureka service registry and pick and choose the appropriate service. So this is how it works in a microservice ecosystem. This is one other example of the microservice ecosystem with Netflix. So already we have seen Zuul is the API gateway. We have a web app, a mobile app, API integration. It can be anything. So technically this is going to be the client. When the client wants to connect to the microservice application. So this is my one single application which is divided into multiple microservices. All the services should register themselves to the Eureka service registry. And you have a dashboard where you can just see the details of all the services. Then again you are having cloud config. The purpose of cloud config is you should not add all the configuration details in the services. Instead, you should have the details in the repository. The cloud config server is responsible for giving a link to the appropriate repository. And if you want to handle security, you can use Spring Security module. Together with that, if you want to use OAuth, you can use that. Next one is Hystrix dashboard. This is used for monitoring your application. Now coming here, I am having all the services. You can see this Web REST API, Service 1, Service 2, Service 3, Service 4. So the services are communicating to each other. And each service should have a client-side load balancer ribbon, fault tolerance library Hystrix, declarative client Feign. You can see that here this Web REST API, Service 1, Service 2, all the 3 are having ribbon, Feign and Hystrix added. But in case of Service 3 and Service 4, we have not added these libraries. Why? These are end services. They are not going to call any other microservice. Maybe they are connecting to the database or they are going to provide service for other services. And again, in your microservice, you can use any type of database. If you want to use RDBMS, you can choose that, or NoSQL or Big Data. So this is the complete microservice ecosystem with Netflix. We have not talked about Feign. Feign is a declarative client. This is just to create a stub to connect from one microservice to another microservice. Instead of you writing the raw code completely, if you are using Feign, Feign will help in creating the web service client for your microservice. While doing the application, you will understand that part. And the purpose of cloud config server is for external configuration. This is about the components of Netflix OSS. Now, in our microservice series, this is the example that we are going to create. The first thing is we will create the Eureka service registry. Next, we will be creating few microservices. In our case, we will try creating product service, cart service, order service and delivery service. So we will be creating 4 services. In case of product service, if you want, you can connect with the database. We will be doing it as a simple application with hard-coded values. Next one is cart service. Cart will try to connect to product service, but I want to add the fault tolerance library Hystrix. So by this way, we will understand the component Hystrix. Next is order service. In case of order service, we will try to do client-side load balancing by adding ribbon. Next is delivery service. In case of delivery service, we will try to include Feign. Feign is a declarative client. Once we have understood all the concepts, then we will add all the libraries to all the services and see how exactly it is working. Together with that, we will also use the cloud config server to add the configuration details. In case of product service, I will be showing the example with hard-coded values. If you are interested, you can work with any database. So that's all about the components of Netflix OSS. Thank you.